Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman Zero 2. Last time Leviathan's antics allowed Elpizo to slip out of our fingers once again, meaning we're gonna have to take one last crack at recapturing him. Now then, since we've already taken out his fellows, the only guardian left is Sage Harpuya. He was the one who saved us in the intro stage, which I would hope would mean that he's not gonna bug us too much, but judging by his fellows' actions in past stages, I wouldn't bet on it. It's located at the crash site of the bombardment aircraft from the intercool stage, which should make for an interesting setting. I'll be seeing you there. Unlike the past few stages, which just dumped us into previous locales, this one immediately gives us a new area, which appears to be some sort of scrapyard littered with the debris of our late bombardment aircraft. Unfortunately, it's also littered with a whole bunch of carry arms and spikings, which are never fun. The defense form we're currently using also means that it's kind of hard to take them out, which is why I'm using a lot of EX skills like the 10,000 and the Sengetotsu. That Cyber Elf is rather well hidden, and the exit is rather evil, in that it's very, very hard to get out of the area without landing on the spike, seeing as the entrance is so low to the ground. Here's another little evil Cyber Elf. It's very hard to get this one, and I don't think I've ever gotten it without cheesing it with attacking through the wall. Then have to wait a bit for it to fall down, which is never fun, but this one isn't as bad as some previous ones, like the ones in Phoenix Magneon stage, so you can just watch that. As you can see there, the Pantheons are taking 2 hits instead of just 1. Defense form can be a little tricky to use. You won't die much using it, though. Now then, we're already out of the scrapyard area and entering the first of the big gimmicks of the stage. Say hello to our friend, the Look. This thing switches between 2 colors, and as you can see, we're actually in the crystal cave that the stage description mentioned. The crystals are composed of 2 different colors, one's blue and one's red, and they're normally invisible. However, when you hit the Look, it'll release these little mini versions of itself, at which point the corresponding color crystal platforms will become visible for the duration of their existence. If you kill them all, then the crystal platforms will disappear again, but if you leave them alive, you'll get a bit more time to look at them. Look is also nice in that it has a infinite supply of enemies to give you, meaning that you can grind forms like the defense form and the rise form on it should you so choose. Not even going to comment on that electrical golem because, what's that, the 4th time we've seen him? Yeah, he's old news. Though for whatever reason they apparently felt compelled to give him 2 sets of boss doors. The sharp edge is especially useful against enemies like the Pantheon Crawler that are so low to the ground it's hard to hit them with other attacks. Now then, another section with the Look, but here I'd like to point out that you don't actually have to use it to safely traverse these spike pits. Rather, you might notice that below us there are actually 2 different levels of spikes. The lower ones are always safe and have crystals hidden within them, but the higher ones are deadly death traps and you don't want to fall on those. So if you don't want to use the Look, you can always just study the lay of the land and get through safely that way. The second section is a bit harder than the first because of 2 specific crystal sections where you have to slide down instead of just jumping up. They're partially blocked. But other than that, it's not too difficult. It can pose a problem at first, but after a few tries, you'll get it. And now we get to the actual crash site of the bombardment aircraft. This is where the gameplay takes a significant turn. This stage has a few different, decidedly unique gimmicks. You see, these resistant soldiers were supposed to meet up with us, but Neo Arcadia was gracious enough to upgrade them with these spiffy new antennas, which has, somewhat messed with their reasoning capabilities, because attacking Zero is never the smartest of decisions. As such, we gotta get through here while trying to leave them alive. They can take a couple shots, but you hit them too much and they will explode. Hilariously enough, they give you a 1-up if you do decide to kill them, but don't do it because it will penalize your mission score and they'll also not show up at the resistance base later. This is the entrance to the shuttle that we would have normally taken in the stage previous. However, it's been blocked off, which means we can never get back in there, and if you missed any Cyber Elves, then you're never getting them. Harpuya's name means harpy in ancient Greek, so named because of his aerial theming. He has extreme mobility, a lot of speed, and a whole bunch of long-ranged attacks, which would probably make him rather difficult if he wasn't super weak to ice, and if you couldn't knock him out of most of his attacks with a single hit. He's not as infamously easy as he was in the first game, wherein you stun-lock him into the same pattern over and over, but he's still far from the hardest in the game. Unfortunately, this EX skill is rather difficult. It's called Sonic Boom, and involves him launching way too many large, half-the-screen-wide shockwaves in your general direction. It's not fun, and he likes using it quite a bit. I managed to kill him very fast there and prevent him from using it a second time, but if you don't exploit his weakness, it can be rather difficult. Unfortunately, I can't blame him for Elpizo's escape this time, seeing as we were simply too slow. EX skill we get is the final saber skill. It's called the Kogenjin, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but it involves shooting a long-range saber shockwave reminiscent of old Mega Man X games, wherein he did much the same. And once again we get a dynamic mission start, this time to the beginning of our epic incursion into the inner sanctums of Neo Arcadia. Unfortunately, this means I won't be able to show off our EX skill, nor comment on the fact that CyberX apparently managed to waylay Elpizo simply by yelling at him, so we'll have to save that for next time. Thanks for watching.